So I've caught them, I've pinned them down, folks, just for you on wireless, Jason, as well. An ad hoc little bit of an interview because you've come down to Radio Hartlepool to do some voiceovers for
That's
us.
right, yeah.
You're our station official voiceover for all the commercials and everything like that. A little bit of comprod as well. We love you down here. We knew you before you were famous, Matt.
You did. I have very fond memories of the basement.
And the reason why I'm doing this video as well, we look back at it in 2 years and say, I knew him. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
That would be nice.
Acting, I mean, your career, I've known you for years and years, years as an athlete, as a musician, and your son's getting into it now as well, isn't he? Tell us a little bit about your son and what you do with your son, because it's a father-son relationship, this music game, isn't it?
It is, and it all happened by accident. And so, as you mentioned, I've had a lifetime of this, and had absolutely no idea that my children would follow me in any measure, because they showed no inclination as children.
He must be good though.
He is a savant. He did nothing as a child, and then decided one day at 15, I want to play the guitar.
We're going to do this.
And he was, Dad, will you teach me a couple of bits? We worked out very quickly that wasn't a good idea, because we thought about it, and he's not a good student in that sense. Turns out,
bit like me.
Turns out I'm not a good teacher in that sense. For him, I am a good teacher, by the way. And so he just went off on his own, got YouTube videos. I went away on tour, so I went to tour the world in a band. That's another story.
You did?
I did. Well, I'll tell you a bit about that in a minute.
Fantastic.
But when I came back, this boy became this musician that gobsmacked me.
Yes.
He was playing things that in 30 years of playing I couldn't play. Just absolute natural. And so he wanted to come out and do little bits with me.
So hang on, you disappeared away from home.
Yeah.
All right. You went on this, and I know it was a good few months tour of the world, and you're right with that. I'm like that. This is your first tour.
Yeah.
And you come back and your son's a musician better than you.
Yes, there's no two ways about it, and I'm humbled when I get on stage with him, and I make no qualms whatsoever, because anybody watching would say the same thing. There's things he can do for a 17-year-old where at the end of every gig they just go, you've been playing how long? You've been playing how long? Less than 2 years. And they're like, no, they think it's a gimmick, and no, that's and how many lessons has he had? None. He did it all himself from YouTube. So I urge anyone to come and see us, because...
Tell us where you're on. Tell us where you're on.
Right.
You've got a big gig, haven't you?
We have a huge gig.
There's going to be thousands of there, isn't there?
We do have a big gig coming out. So this sort of like doing little bits with his dad shows turned into a, hang on a second, maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
And people kept saying he looks like George Harrison, he sounds like George Harrison, and I've played Paul McCartney. And that's how it was born. We became the Hart Beatles, an homage to our own town. Hart, spelt H-A-R-T.
Of course,
Hart Beatles.
proper way.
And it just absolutely took off. And the next thing we know, we're all over the country. We go everywhere. We're in Inverness in a few weeks. We're down at the lakes on the weekend. We're down in Sheffield next week. People just have warmed to this father-son experience. And
I have as well.
It's been wonderful.
I remember you sent us an email saying we're on at this RetroFest or something like that, actually going on the stage together. Tell us a little bit about it, because there is thousands of people going to be there.
Well, that was something else as well, because this tribute fest in Hartlepool in September the 6th, the organisers got in touch with me and said, we'd heard about you.
Who hasn't? I'm not being funny, Matt. Who hasn't in Hartlepool? Because of your music career, what you were known for before, and we won't mention that today because I want your future out here, and your acting career as well. But back to this gig.
Well, hopefully they know me for good reasons, and this is the one I'm the proudest of. I'll be honest with you. Everything else is kind of filler, and I do love what I've done. All the experiences I've had working with you and everybody else, I love it. But I didn't know I needed this until it happened. And this has been just the most wonderful experience. And they wanted somebody local, some tribute to put on stage alongside these huge national tributes. These guys have been all over the world. They're massive. And little old us and my 17-year-old son were asked, could we extend it to the full 4-piece Beatles experience? And I went,
bit of a challenge, that, huh?
Well, yes and no. Bit of a challenge, making sure I can get the right people. But no, in that I've worked with the best Beatles tributes in the world, around the world. So I made a couple of phone calls and I managed to get a good friend of mine who plays Ringo and another friend of mine who plays John. One from Amsterdam, one from Blythe, and they both said yes.
Isn't it, Ringo and John?
Ringo and John.
He's name dropping now. When you Amsterdam, not from Westview, I want Manor in Hartlepool, folks.
Pete and Dave to me, and they went absolutely no problem. We'd love to do that, and we've built it around young George. We've built it around Ben. So the show that we're going to put together for this tribute fest is like,
and it should be
watch
as well,
this
shouldn't
kid,
it?
watch it.
Boost his career and everything like that.
With no disrespect, it's a huge stage, 5,000 audience, the best tribute
At
fest.
least as well.
At least,
I've heard that it's going to be a sellout.
And I've heard it's getting bigger this year as well. So it's exciting for all of us. But for a 17-year-old lad from Hartlepool for his first ever festival, and we've been offered other things since then, but I've said this has to be his first.
And I'll tell you what, could you send us a photograph through of him? And I'll tell you what, we'll stick it up just here.
He'll love that. He'll love that.
Would you send us a photograph through?
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Young
just
George.
Stick it in the middle, so we're there.
There. This is young George.
All right, just pause for a bit. There we go. You see? There you go.
Yeah, so that's young George, my son Ben Turnbull, who is now a musician, a professional musician. And we worked out that in the short time we've been working together, maybe 9 months, he's done 77 professional gigs.
Wow.
Which,
unbelievable.
I don't know what you were doing at 17, but I wasn't playing a guitar.
Certainly not that. I think it was Billy Meisering for me.
Was it for you?
Yeah,
it was behind Henry Smith's school for me, to be honest with you.
Well, we're not going to that.
Bottle of White Lightning.
There's no kids watching or anything like that, so we're all right on this. It's adult content.
We just got up to mischief, and we weren't doing useful things. Like there weren't things like this, you know, really underpinning his career.
Has he said anything about? I mean, from a musician, 17-year-old musician, has he said anything to you about acting? Because this is the next thing we're going to turn to with you. Has he said anything about acting?
Well, he won't even speak on stage. He'll only sing and play the guitar. He's very shy. So no. But my other son has gone into film and TV as a producer, director, writer. He starts Teesside University.
Musicians
I'm just
behind
so
the camera.
proud of them.
In front of the camera, we're just going to talk about in just a bit. It's a family thing. Your missus does all the admin and everything like that. She's background support, and she
does absolutely everything. She allows the boys in her life to do the most ridiculous things for a living, for a hobby, and she rolls her eyes, but she never drops the ball. She is wonderfully supportive.
She must be proud of you as well, lad. Because not just because you're individual blokes and one's a son and one's a husband and everything like that. It's a case of that. It's a family thing now, isn't it?
Do you know, when you're in the middle of it just that is your life. So yes, she's utterly proud, but all she's ever known of me is off to the theatre here, off to the film there, off to sing this, off to run that, doing this crazy thing. So that's all we've ever known for 30 years. So that's our bread and butter. But when you step outside it and look at it, and people say that to me all the time, your life is crazy, what you're doing now.
It is.
I'm like, I don't know anything else, Jason. I don't know other than if I get an idea and I'm capable of doing it, I will do it. And if it can change your life, I'll do it. And if it's one of my dreams,
Can I just come in there as well? This, I remember, I got asked to compare the event of the what do you call it? Is it triathlons called?
Yeah.
Down the marina. This is many years ago, and up turns this guy, which we all know in Hartlepool. We all know him from his past career and everything like that. But I didn't know he was a sportsman. And did you actually win that one? I'm sure you did.
Not only did I win, it was the inaugural Big Lime Triathlon back in 2016. Yeah.
Big Lime. Whatever it's called.
Well, it's gone on to become one of the best races on the calendar.
You actually won this.
I won it and held the record for the win for maybe 6 years. Nobody was able to beat my time. That is another passion of mine. It's another, Jason, that's another life. That's another story.
Musician, past educator in Hartlepool, and you've educated thousands. Thank you very much for that, including family members of mine. So I'm proud of you on that one. And now, Family Guy will move on to the movies. Now, I know Matt. I know what he's been in, what he's working on and everything like that. I'm obliged to say nothing unless he says it, and otherwise he'll poke me in the eye or something like that during this interview. But I see your cast and role as being a little bit James Bondish. Wouldn't you say it's like James Bond looking? I would. A little bit James Bond, action figure, detective, policeman, fireman. Something like definitely an action role, and a thinker as well, because I know you're very well educated. I know you support all issues around the world as well.
You flatter me, Jason.
Common people and humanity. I know you're a humanitarian, supporting different atrocities going on around the world, supporting the and highlighting the needs of people, famine and everything like that, bringing those into play. But getting back to your action, man. Tell us about you.
You've just like sort of rolled off a few of the roles. I was like, yeah, I do get cast as that. So a policeman, a soldier, a teacher.
Yeah.
I've not been the spy yet, but I was recently cast in a short film, which is what we call a proof of concept for a major feature of this. Again, can't say too much, but when it comes out, people can see this. Kind of a Bond spin-off, where I got to play the character of a politician who has control over that service. Yeah. What do they do with the Bond type characters when they retire? So this question was proposed by a writer-director. What happens to them? What happens to them? And my character decides that they're too expensive and need to go.
Can I say your real name? His real name, as I know him, is Matt Turnbull, Matthew Turnbull. A lot of people in Hartlepool know him as that, but can we get your stage name out so if you look you up?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So I think it always sounds a little bit pretentious when you say I have a stage name, and I don't. I'm Matthew Turnbull, Matt Turnbull. That's who I am. Yeah. But on bits of paper that go out and credits that roll, my name is Matt McInnes. Right. And that's my grandparents and the Innesses of the town. Hi there, guys.
How
it's my
do you
family.
actually spell that? Because I remember looking it up before and I had to get the spelling correct.
Correct. Well, it was so the Innesses of the town, who are my family, INNES. The Matt Innes didn't roll off the tongue very well, but my family are from Scotland. So one of my friends said, why didn't you just go with McCartney? Because you like the name McCartney. And I was like, that's a bit, that's a bit too close.
That sort of thing, don't you?
But the Muck stuck, and I was like, I like the Muck. I like the Matt Mac. And then I think it was my cousin who said he's put them together. The Mac
sounds
and
like
McCartney,
a strong name.
So Matt McInnes is the name that I didn't choose. I had to because through equity and other actors.
Have you got one of them pages? That's what I was going to say, the IMDb. What do they call them pages?
They have the IMDb, which is the pro thing. A lot of people use that. I'm a bit old school.
We can go into that.
You can go into that, but you can go into my website. You can have a look at my website. You can have a look at
what's your website?
So the website is www.matt-mckinnes.com. And on there are various films and clips and TVs, shorts and things that are on there. All sorts of bits and bobs about me and the band, the duo. So all the stuff about Matt McInnes wrapped into one thing, which is all of my art, my music, my performance, and there's some other things on there that stretch into the world of athletics. Only because I'm filming a documentary with a Netflix / Amazon company who've worked with those guys. I'm filming a documentary about an extreme triathlon that we're trying to achieve for charity. So that's on there as well. There's all sorts of stuff going on there.
Easy role for you, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm falling to bits here. So I've limped in here today. I've got a stress fracture in my ankle. I've got a strained wrist. I'm getting old, but I have to train upwardsly of 10 hours a week doing swim, bike and run for these triathlons that we need to complete.
That's part of the show.
Yeah, so the documentary is about the making of this challenge, which is 10 triathlons in 10 countries in 24 hours, or as quick as we can, to set a world record.
And it's real?
It's real, absolutely real, yeah. So we have to get helicopters between all of these countries. It's Ireland, Scotland,
Do you know,
Isle
I remember
of Man.
you telling us about this.
Yeah, so there's 4, Scotland, Isle of Man, Wales, and then France, Belgium, Holland, Germany and Luxembourg, and it's helicopters and speedboats between a lot of them. That's what makes the documentary, and it's arduous and crazy and a logistic nightmare and absolute knife edge, but I have to be fit as a fiddle to be able to do swim, bike and run in every one of those countries with just the helicopter rides as my recovery. So it'll make a great documentary, but it's very personal. It follows my story and my auntie's story, who passed away from cancer in March last year, and other people in the local area, people from the town and other people in my family who are living with cancer. So there's a thread going through the documentary about my reasons for doing this, why I will torture myself day and day. I'm exhausted, by the way, but I will not stop because this has to be done, because we will raise hundreds of thousands for cancer research.
You've heard it here, right, Matt? That's all we've got time for today. We'll do another one of these next time you pop in, eh?
Please, yeah.
You word it on here. This is going to be worth thousands of visits, I'll tell you it is indeed. And look, that's been my mate Matt Turnbull, that I know as, and actor, extraordinaire, athlete and everything like that. Matt, thank you very much for giving your time.
It's always a pleasure.
How good is he?
Thank you.